Mike Johnston fired as head coach of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Mike Sullivan named head coach in his place. Not too much of a shock for the underwhelming Pittsburgh Penguins. About a quarter way through the season, a little more than a quarter way through the season at this point. A lot of talk about the Pittsburgh Penguins. Sidney Crosby having problems with Mario Lemieux. Evgeny Malkin coming out and basically saying that people aren't leading, they're not doing their job. Even reports of Phil Kessel having problems with Sidney Crosby as well. So the Pittsburgh management decided to fire the head coach. That seems to be the problem. Like a lot of fans like myself, and I think even more so Pittsburgh Penguin fans, day to day, are thinking maybe Sid himself is the problem, having a very, very underwhelming start as well, being the team captain, criticisms of not actually being a leader, and having a little too much pull with the owner. I don't think this sheds too much light on what exactly is going on in Pittsburgh, but it certainly tells me that more than likely a head coaching problem is not going to solve the problem. I think we have a cultural problem in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has some of the biggest names in the game, maybe even the most firepower out of any team in the National Hockey League. Their underperformance, their underwhelming performance, there's really no excuse for that whatsoever, considering the salaries these guys make. So, I just I have to think that it has a little more to do with a little less to do with coaching than most folks think. But I guess the pressure from fans and management to perform, considering the kind of money they're pouring out there, and the consistent embarrassing eliminations, playoff eliminations by the Pittsburgh Penguins, at least some pressure is being put on there. The problem is, I think the light needs to be shined on the captain himself. This team, in a couple different incarnations, since their last Stanley Cup win, really probably should have maybe one, maybe two more Stanley Cups. There's no excuse for it, but I think the man that's absolutely positively untouchable is more than likely responsible, and until that is addressed, until Sidney Crosby actually becomes a captain, a player, rather than what he appears to be, a little more than that. I mean, after all, the media has touted him as more than a player, and not surprisingly, he acts as such. Yes, I'm pointing the finger at him. We've had coaching changes before. We've had line changes before. We've had players moved in and out. Players like Matt Niskanen, who's been on this team, have reported leadership issues. Most people look to Jonathan Toews as being the leader of Team Canada. Maybe it's Sid the Kid. Post your comments below. The more and more I attack Crosby, the less and less heat I take as a hater. I think attitudes are finally starting to turn around because we're running out of people to blame. I'm Tommy C. Like, share, and check out our live podcast. Peace.